Next on The Walking Dead. Hello YouTube, how's it going guys? This discussion of The Walking Dead is going to contain spoilers. It's not really spoilers, but it's the casting of the new character Beta in The Walking Dead. New villain coming through. So, if you guys do not know what's going on with The Walking Dead recently and currently, I'm going to update you on you guys and update that there's a new character coming called Beta to The Walking Dead. Now, there's a new character coming to The Walking Dead called Beta. So now, this poses a lot of questions. So basically, what's currently going on, if you guys are watching, is that you have a new villain, or you have a couple of new villains. New to the show. One is called Alpha and the other one is called Beta. This tall mother mofo right here with the long hair is one of the new villains. And basically, I have somebody viewing my channel right now. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the stream. This is my second video. I was gonna do a reaction video on Fear the Walking Dead episode 11, but I'm going to do that at another later time because I've already watched the episode, but I kind of want to do another reaction just because I like watching things twice. And the second time I watch things, I always catch new things on the episodes. So it'll be cool to see what I see next. But I want to talk specifically about this very specific topic because I did it on my last stream, but I didn't get into it that much detail. I was kind of talking about all things Walking Dead. But this season, I mean this not season, episode, I mean this live stream is going to be about this specific character and the teasers that they've been giving. So as you can see, The Walking Dead has casted Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy. This dude is badass. First of all, this dude comes from Sons of Anarchy, Jack's best friend. And off the back, you could just tell, like, this is gonna be an epic season because you're gonna have interesting characters come into the show. And for the first time, if you've noticed, they're putting characters into the show that are somewhat known, well known, basically. I mean, most of the characters in The Walking Dead, before they even got into The Walking Dead, weren't that well known. They were kind of, well known in terms of like their fame and stuff like that, or their popularity in the film industry and acting industry. But they didn't, you could tell, like, it was more of a show like, oh, who are these people? You know what I mean? And then you grew to love the show, then so forth. Now they're kind of introducing more characters into the show that are just making the Walking Dead just seem a little bit more interesting and more lovable, and kind of like the mix of the villains. You kind of have villains that you probably kind of like think is badass, but you'll hate and you love at the same time. Kind of like that Negan relationship. Like, he's badass, but he's just oh, I hate Negan. By the way, if you're watching and you're a Negan hater, please comment and just put I am not Negan. Just put I am not Negan. I just want to see somebody write that. I've yet to see somebody write I am not Negan. But I kind of want to read for you guys don't know what's going on. There's an article that about The Walking Dead, about Ryan Hurst and what he just teased on Twitter. And I am going to just wait a little bit to see who pops into the stream and kind of, I'll have a little bit more viewers to kind of see and show you what's going on with The Walking Dead, and specifically with this topic, and what I have as an article. But if you have a question about anything, or this something that you kind of want to discuss before I get into this topic, let me know. And you who are watching, thank you for being in the stream. Yeah. So, as you can see on my screen, I have the picture of Negan and Beta. And then I have the comic book version right here of Negan and Beta together. And then you have Beta right in the back. You could tell that's Beta. I'm not really too sure if that's Beta, but I'm pretty sure that's Beta. Right there you see him about to destroy Carol's throat. Now, I suppose there's a lot of questions. What do you think this means? What do you think this is aiming towards? Write it down on the comments below. Let me know. I'll answer any questions. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna speed up the process because I'm pretty sure that not many people are gonna jump on here. But I will say this. I am going to say this. I have an article here from Google, and it says, The Walking Dead's Ryan Hurst teases Jeffrey Dean Morgan about Beta and Negan's future. And then it says, alright, just one day after being announced as the newest member of the Walking Dead Season 9 cast, Ryan Hurst is already fitting right in as part of the family. On Monday, news broke that the former Sons of Anarchy star had been cast as Beta, the villainous whisperer in the upcoming season of The Walking Dead. Quickly after the announcement, Negan himself, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, took to Twitter to share his excitement for Hurst's casting. The Walking Dead cast members have long been known to joke around with one another on social media, and Hurst quickly picked up on the pattern. His response to Morgan's excitement was perfect, especially considering how evil both of their characters actually are. Hurst replied to Morgan's tweet with a picture of ending of Casablanca, where Rick Blaine, Humphrey Bogart, and Louis Renault, Claude Rains, are standing side by side in the fog. So if you guys don't know, this movie is an iconic movie, and they're both villains. But, there's a picture of both of them standing side by side. And this creates a symbol kind of showing like, hey, okay. And along with the photo, Hurst wrote, Jeffrey, I think this is the beginning. And if you see the picture, it's pretty dope. Of course, the message is alluding to the line spoken by Bogart in Casablanca. In the scene, Rick says, Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. That's crazy. Hurst is most likely alluding to the fact that both Negan and Beta are major villains on The Walking Dead. And the fact that it's Negan that gives Beta rule over the Whisperers in the first place. In the comics, the Whisperers are initially led by a powerful woman named Alpha, and Beta is her second in command. However, Negan ends up decapitating Alpha as a gesture of good faith to Rick, a decision which ends up putting Beta in power. So Morgan took the Casablanca reference even further, replying to Hurst, once more, I believe you are correct. He wrote, here's looking at you, kid. That's funny. So now, you know, the fact that this is happening, it creates that little spark. And then, you know, Jeffrey D. Morgan, I believe you are correct. Here's looking at you, kid. He tweeted that and responded to that. What that means is basically in the show, I feel like what's gonna happen in the show is that Negan is still going to be an evil prick, you know, and somehow he's still going to be that character that, regardless, even though he's tenacious and he's also evil, but also kind of like remorseful and kind of has a little soft side to him, he's still gonna be a prick and kind of go about his way, and somehow, you know, kind of go side by side with Beta somehow. Somehow the story's gonna go online with making, you know, Negan still a villain and Beta kind of like both of them, you know, uniting to kind of like be the both villains at the same time, kind of making the Rick's group still a living hell, or just continue to be a living hell for them. So I don't know, I find this to be a little bit of a mix between the storyline, because it is possible that they are going to head the direction that Negan might kind of team up with another villain. But then that poses the question, is like, okay, so Rick is leaving, what the hell's gonna happen? How are they going to survive these villains? You understand what I mean? And I mean, they got Daryl, who's a badass, who's hands down could hold down the team. So, yes, that poses that question. Viewer, what do you think? What do you think based off this article, man? What do you think based off this article is gonna happen? What do you think is going on with this? What do you think about it? Feel free to have any conversation and any questions you have. I'm currently want more topics. I feel like Daryl's gonna end up destroying Negan somehow along the line, and this poses so many other questions. I feel like the fact that Fear the Walking Dead is making Morgan be in the Fear the Walking Dead, and then at a certain point Rick is not going to be there when he does head back. I also feel like at one point Morgan is going to kind of take the lead, aside from all the other people, with Daryl somehow on the journey to kind of go find Rick on the side, and that's going to be left like that. And then that's how the story might kind of unfold, for them to kind of travel towards that side of the universe where there is a bigger group waiting out there to help other people that already do have a stronger community. I just feel that, you know, this is big. This is big that you have a character right now being casted, and it's just they're constantly showing this, and it's kind of it's kind of not by words, but it's kind of just giving you the understanding of what's really gonna go on with The Walking Dead a little bit. It makes you kind of just wonder, like, what the hell? I mean, the recent episode of Fear the Walking Dead, for example, I watched it. Episode is dope. They introduced 2 new characters, and in the beginning the 2 characters seemed like they were, spoiler if you didn't watch it, They just literally seemed like they were good characters, but then they would look like they were bad, and then they were good again somehow. But then that's just the beauty of watching episodes and looking at watching the story unfold. And you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what is going to be part of the show and how the story is gonna unfold. That's the beauty of watching the show and understanding things are not gonna go a certain way. So I think that most people that are in the show are going to start getting closer and closer with their bond relationship, especially because that's the direction that the show is going. If you see, that's how it started. The relationship between Rick's people was like no other since the beginning. Since as the show progressed, you see the relationship kind of like getting stronger and stronger. They brought that relationship to Fear the Walking Dead. And when they brought that to Fear the Walking Dead, that was what helped the Fear the Walking Dead kind of just show, like, you know, all right, where is this going next? Now you have new characters in Fear the Walking Dead that are just like all coming from different sides. They don't even know each other, and they're all just kind of, they have no choice. They're like building this bond with each other to kind of like get through the way. And I feel like each character adds on to the story with each of their experiences and how they incorporate that into the show as the story unfolds through these characters that are going through hell, obviously, since the apocalypse started, and now they have no choice but to just kind of like help each other because that's all they have. So, and you know, shout out to Fear the Walking Dead, man. Like they're doing it big, and they're competing with The Walking Dead. They're not even competing with The Walking Dead. They're together with The Walking Dead. So if people don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, you're just missing out. You know, shout out to that. Just go over there and watch it. You'll see they currently have I believe is 3 episodes so far out. And you know what I find very interesting is that you have the fact that people think that Rick is gonna die. It's just bananas because, like, there's no way that the show is gonna kill off Rick. There's gonna be some other type of way that he's gonna leave and he's gonna be in the show still, but not actually in the show. Like, he's in the show, but he's not in the episodes. But he's in the story, and you can't just do that with a show and just kill off a main character like that, you know, unless it was like meant like, okay, like what now? Like, you killed off the best character in the world right now, which is literally Rick, and then you're gonna shape the story to go alongside somewhere else. Like, okay, like you know, each character has his own story, but you can't just go a certain direction with a character and be like, okay, you could lead the story a certain way, but you just don't. Killing a character off just means like that says finito, pa. Like, you can't, like, how are you gonna have a character die? And then now, what's even crazier, you have one of the best villains, the meanest villains alive, while the main character's leaving, and you hate him. So think about that. If the main villain is gonna be part of the show, no matter what, how can you make the story and shape the story into a way that, for us as a viewer, we know, like, okay, there's hope, where someday the story's gonna come and get what we all want to see, which is actually Negan die. Like, and you don't want the story to end. Obviously, you want to get revenge, and by you getting revenge, it's kind of like, okay, but then this is, you know, you're just getting revenge, and then that's it, and then you live happily ever after. Okay, the show, where's the show going? So that's where it's kind of like, okay, I understand there's always gonna be a threat, and then there you go, the whispers are a threat. You know, that's why the story is going where it's going. And then I feel like the fact that, you know, Rick is probably gonna be there but not there, there's gonna be some hope of seeing the story at a certain point in the future where you grew up from, where you came from, where you started watching the show. It's what you are watching it for, because you want to see the story kind of end with who you started watching and why you started loving the show. I started watching the show and loving the show since day one because of that main character, Rick, and the people that came along, like Carol, Daryl, you know, and then Michonne. He became a big character in like half of the season. I mean, like half of the career of the season. And like, it's like, you know, what now? And then we can only wait until that October 7th comes up, yo. I'm just saying. Leave in the comments right here in the chat if you think Rick is gonna die. Do you think Negan is gonna die? Do you think Negan is going to somehow be part somehow of another villain, with another villain, and just make Rick's group live in hell after that? But matter of fact, what do you think about the trailer? What have you guys seen about the trailer and kind of just picked out about the trailer? Let me know, because on the comment section below, I'm ready to hear all the comments, all the freaking comments. And you know, if you want, I want to play this video right now. I want to play a video. I want to play a video. I want to play a video. 3 Papa Chulo. Papa Chulo. They call me Papa Chulo. They call me Papa Chulo. My bad, viewer. I'm just kind of, I want to show you a video. I want to put this up right now because I feel like this might help with my discussion right now. And you know, this is the Papa Chulo. What I could do is I could literally play the video and you can hear the video while we actually get a reaction out of this video live. You can hear the video and tell me what you think afterwards. There you go with these advertisements, man. Advertisements. So I feel like in general, man, this is just waiting for this, man. I can't wait.
Just don't get carried away with the Wild West.
I just, you know what else sucks? I hate the fact that you know, episodes take long to play. Man, we gotta wait every Sunday. This video is called How Andrew Lincoln's exit would affect The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead will be the last for Andrew Lincoln and his Rick Grimes character, but it is not necessarily time to panic yet. What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here with the sad news. I feel like I'm reading an obituary following reports of Andrew Lincoln exiting The Walking Dead in Season 9, which AMC declined comicbook.com's request for comment on. And while Maggie is probably going with him, seeing as Lauren Cohen is currently only signed on for 6 episodes in Season 9, it isn't all bad. So before you get teary-eyed like Rick Grimes when Negan comes to town for the first time, let's talk this out. First of all, we might just want to accept the fact that Rick is going to die and begin the grieving process.
No, he's not.
For some sort of Christina Yang Grey's Anatomy treatment where he just leaves town or stays behind when everyone else does, which would keep him alive and available for a future appearance. But such a move just wouldn't be The Walking Dead's way.
Yes, it is.
Likely the show varies the Whisperer's villainous arrival that we saw in the comics and tosses Rick's head onto a pike, then the group going to the Commonwealth and him staying behind to rebuild Alexandria by Carl's gravesite. So what good can come of this, you're wondering? Well, first of all, the Daryl fans will be happy to hear that Norman Reedus reportedly took on a massive new contract to help fill the void and carry the original season's torch, so hold on to those riots. Of course, there are other characters fans want more from, and they're going to get it. Skybound has confirmed other characters like Enid will see some serious development, and the wealth will be shared to others too, I can tell you, like Ross Marquand's Aaron, Pollyanna McIntosh's Anne, Seth Gilliam's Father Gabriel, and Melissa McBride's Carol in big ways. As for Denai Guerrero's Michonne, the future can only be chalked up as uncertain as the Black Panther star's contract with the AMC show expires this season, but there's a chance she could come back for Season 10. And yes, that means AMC nor anyone else has given us any reason to believe that Season 9 is the final season of The Walking Dead. So
No,
while
it's
Rick
not.
will be going to that great zombie barn in the sky, fans who will stick with the AMC show beyond his exit can look forward, feeling similar to that of Season 1, very much on the road and loaded with character development for other names. Either way, prepare yourself for the inevitable as Rick's exit seems to finally be upon us. What do you think of Andrew Lincoln leaving The Walking Dead? Will you stick with the show after his departure? Let me know how you'd like to see him go out in the comment section and send your thoughts my way.
Okay.
Head over to comicbook.com/TheWalkingDead for more info.
First of all, bro. There is no way you're going to end the show right now. Especially if people are requesting to watch the show. Like, you gotta make the show at least like 4 more seasons. 4 more seasons based on what you want to happen and what you want to see go on with the story, how you wanted to see it end. You know what I mean? You can't just make the show 9 seasons. You know, and what's gonna come next? Like, okay, the main people of the show are like kind of getting all dropped off, basically knocked off of the world. But I feel like if you want to keep a show going, you're not just gonna end the show. There's other possibilities of making the show keep on going further. A good example, Supernatural. Look, Supernatural could keep on going for like the longest. At some point it's gonna be done, right? But right now the viewers is going strong. Like, that's one of my favorite shows too. And there, like, the way the story is developing, there's a lot of stuff still that you're like, okay, like, you know, like the story could keep on unfolding right now. I kind of want to see more. And like, okay, like, there's a lot of other stuff that could happen throughout the show that could make the show have a happy ending. Because after all, you can't just make the show have a shitty ending, right? You can't have The Walking Dead have just a shitty ending. You can't. Like, you're going to have to make a way where, for example, the way things are going is going to play out. Think about it. If the season, he said, The Walking Dead season 9 is gonna be probably the last. No, maybe 10. No, you could have a couple of more seasons explaining, going into the whole like over spectrum of like what eventually could happen throughout The Walking Dead based on the comics, because there's so many other things in the comics that that you can make a story out of in The Walking Dead, kind of continuing what the story has, opened up and brought to us. And to me, it's just the decision of, okay, we're going forward with this story. Negan is gonna be the character that, still is a villain. Rick is gonna be going somewhere off into I don't know where. He's gonna come back somewhere in another season. But think about this. The only reason that he is leaving is because he wanted to leave. They weren't going to kill him off regardless. Right? So why would you kill him off just because he's leaving now? Like, you can shape the story that he's not dead and still make it a story where he's part of the Walking Dead universe and he's not dead. Why does either way, like, if you're gonna risk, why would you risk losing in people's interest in the show by killing off a character, and especially in a season where he's been through hell? It makes no sense. It makes sense in a way where it's actually more realism, but it's not, because think about it, like, the whole reason why, think about it, if the whole reason that we were watching the show was because you were like wondering the whole time, the way it went, we're like, oh, where is the group gonna be, what's gonna happen? You already want to see them kind of like have a good life. Like, you kind of want to be like, okay, the group is good now, right? Basic storyline. You can still do that. There's gonna be conflicts along the way, but right now, why would you kill him off? Because you just watched this whole thing to see the most lovable character die after a time jump that he doesn't have to fight. He's still going through trouble and shit like that. He lost his kid. Yeah, that's the storyline, but why would you want to see him die that early like that? At least put it into the story where, like, he probably goes off somewhere and he does find a big community group himself with his daughter Judith, and then that's like the way of you making him leave, having him leave, but at the same time ensuring that, okay, the story is going to continue for Rick in the Walking Dead universe in the future, and when the Walking Dead does finish, that Rick didn't die, that he is actually with part of a community, and the life that he has left is good, because you don't want to see the character die. And you could lead the show towards always having that side of where, okay, the show is going this way, but at the same time you're still following the Rick story, no matter what, because that's what started the show. You can't just reboot Walking Dead right now like you just did the Fear the Walking Dead. It worked for Fear the Walking Dead. They rebooted the show, basically. They killed off the two of the main characters, and they left one of the main characters to just link up with a Walking Dead character now, and a couple and many other characters that are new, and then just creating this whole story behind the Fear the Walking Dead, the Fear the Walking Dead now, the Fear the Walking Dead now. So, I get it. The whole point is that you're seeing relationships build up and everything and all this, but there still has to be some type of understanding. They have to have the storyline intact from the beginning, because that's why people started watching the show. And if you take it another way with The Walking Dead, I guarantee you that I'm gonna go to The Walking Dead and I'm gonna slice everybody. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm joking. None of that here. None of that violence. Only in the show. But it's gonna be hard to see, if Rick does die, man. I have no idea if I will be like sane enough to keep watching the show in that same episode that he does die, because it's like, boy, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, it doesn't matter what happens. I don't care if it's the most interesting show in the world after you kill him. After you kill Rick. I'm not going to be able to watch the show while I'm pissed off. Because just why? Like, if you're like me and you're a Rick fan to the end, ride or die fan, you're not going to like accept it. You're just going to be like, what? Like, first of all, when Glenn died, it was wild. Like, Maggie could have got waxed, and I would have been like, okay, Maggie got waxed, and you would have been hurt. But it's like, the relationship with Maggie was kind of like, all right, she could die, but it's like, I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's like, when you have this bond from the beginning, like, it's just, I guess everybody has their own character. Like, they were all together. Like, when Herschel died, I was like, no. I thought, and you know, we all thought like we had the rest of the show with Herschel, and you kind of wanted to see how it led with Herschel. But then once he died, you're like, whoa, where is this show going? You understand what I mean? Like, you have one of the main characters, Herschel, which is like a strong character out of Maggie and all of them, just get waxed, you know. But when Glenn got clipped, I was like, no, where is this going? And I feel like The Walking Dead has a very good way of bringing in characters, getting rid of characters and bringing in characters. But you can't do it with Rick, man. You can't just do that. There's no way that you're gonna do it. You could do it with Maggie, but you can't. And bring in a new character that, you know, whatever, you can't do it with fucking Rick. You just can't. It happened with Carl, right? And it was obvious. You were like, whoa, where is this show going now? And I feel like if they are going to kill off Rick and do it in that way, where you just one by one dropping bodies, like, and they're all the main characters, I feel like when you reach Rick, I guarantee you, like, you're gonna have problems. Like, yeah, it's not set. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen right now. We know that he's leaving the show, but at least we still have that hope that he's gonna be in the show somehow along the storyline. You understand what I mean? I rambled on. I want to know who's watching. Say hi if you're not. Don't be scared, man. Or whoever is watching, don't be scared. It's just a stream. Man, I'm so over The Walking Dead. Like, people talking thraki and trash about, oh, Rick is dying. Come on, man. You know he's gonna live. There's no way you could just leave Judith like that, man. That girl is gonna be freaking stressed, my guy. Like, she's gonna be like, who the fuck? No, I'm kidding. She's gonna be like a savage. She's gonna be another Charlie, man. She's gonna be like just dropping bodies out here for no reason, cause she just grow up. Her dad is not there. Her brother got waxed. Her mom got waxed when she wasn't even out of her. She's gonna be like, why? Like, how? You know what I mean? And then you have Carol. Like, Carol is a very interesting character because at one point she just wanted to die. Right? You thought she was going to get clipped. She didn't. And now she's back in the show of Hard Body. I think that she's going to be one of the people that's last. She's going to be one of the people that's last man standing. Along with Daryl. Along with Rick. Somewhere else where he goes off. And Morgan. You can't kill Morgan. You cannot kill Morgan right now. You cannot kill Morgan even when he's like not clearing people. Even when Morgan is like not clearing people, he's gonna be alive. You can't just kill off these characters like that. I can't say it enough. Well, the one person watching, where are you from, man? I'm from New York. I'm all the way out here. And where are you from? Where are you established at? What part of the amazing United States country are you from? Are you from Virginia? Are you from Alexandria? Oh man. Yeah, so this thing with this new character Beta, man, and this and this picture over here with Carol getting about to get cut. I don't know, man. And you know what? I think I might have slight mistake. Right? I think that might not be Beta. I'm not sure. I'm gonna check real quick. I'm gonna go check real quick. I'm checking for that picture. By the way, man, one of the characters that I just wanted to slap every single time was this freaking guy from the church. Like, how do you just like survive the being sick somehow? Right? And then now you just look like a badass. I wonder what he's gonna do, what his role is gonna be. Literally. Also Heath, like that episode, I didn't really catch it until like a while after, like in the season. I was like, wait, where did this man go? Where this dude Heath just like disappeared, right? And a lot of people are speculating that he left and he somehow ran into a group, and that group might have been the Whisperers. But I don't think it. Look, there's no way that he ran into the Whisperers, because just understanding his backstory from the time that he was in the show, he's more of a good person. Like, he was more like a person that comes from good moral, and he meant good, right? And you can't just take a character like that and change him. Well, you could, but you can't. I feel like he might have gotten saved by even a bigger group, which is probably the group that you see where the lady comes to Maggie, explaining to her, like, you know, giving her information and everything. He might have got saved by them somehow with a helicopter and gotten taken to a bigger community already, right? And he's down there, and he's not going to show up anytime soon, and he's going to show up only towards the upcoming seasons. And you're gonna understand what happened to him, and they're gonna explain that in that episode what happened to him. I guarantee you that they're gonna have an episode like that. That they're gonna explain what happened to him and what happened since that time when he just somehow vanished, disappeared. You know, tell me, do you think Heath is alive, and do you think he is? He's gonna come back to the show, and I think he is, because they do have speculations of saying that he's gonna be back in the show. It says, oh wow, excuse me. Why did Negan choose Abraham? Exploring Negan's mind. Nah, I really don't care. Lenny James explains Morgan's reaction to Rick's departure breakdown. Mang. Alright. Wow, they're saying that Rick Grimes immune to the virus. If Rick Grimes was immune to the virus, alright, this is the thing, this is that story. Because, alright, if you guys are familiar and you like The Last of Us, in that show, right, they have, spoilers if you haven't played the show, the main character, one of the main characters, the girl, she is immune to the virus. And the whole story behind that game is that they were trying to get her into a safe zone so they can actually get the virus from her and cure her. Right? So they didn't tell the main character, which is the leading role, basically the guy that took her, he lost his daughter in the beginning. They didn't tell her that. They didn't tell him that she was gonna die if they took the cure from her, and for her to to find a cure. If they took the cure, she was gonna die. Now, if you do have the cure in The Walking Dead somehow, I feel like Rick might, if Rick has the cure, he might be the one that it makes sense for him to leave. And when I say him leaving, I haven't explained exactly how he might leave. And I feel like if you understand this, you know that this is true. Alright. When those helicopters keep on popping up, those helicopters just keep on popping up in The Walking Dead, and Rick Grimes keeps seeing those helicopters, I think that in this season, when he's about to die, when he's hurt, but that helicopter finally pops up and explains everything, and that's the helicopter that's gonna take Rick somewhere to a bigger community, and he's gonna end up living, but he's not gonna be in the show because that is gonna be further on in the upcoming seasons that they're gonna show that, and he's gonna have a couple of years away from The Walking Dead, I feel, to just kind of rest and take a vacation and then come back into the show. He said it himself, my relationship with Rick Grimes is far from over. And when you say you're not going to be working for the Walking Dead, he didn't say I'm not going to be doing, he didn't say it's over, like it's done. It could come back for another season, because each season, right? Each season has to be rebooted, and when you reboot it, as each season has to be given a go, as in like, okay, we're gonna go forth with this new season, and this new season is a whole new, everything is new, no whole new budget. So it's like when he says, this is my last time playing Rick, that doesn't mean it's gonna be forever. You know what I mean? There's people that have left the show and come back to the show. you know. And I feel like if that does happen, that's gonna be a good thing, because like it'll just make the story just way more interesting. I feel like the story should end with one character, which is Rick. You know, somehow he's in there, and it's just, you know, it started with him and his story, and that's what we all love. But according to the him having the virus, that could be a thing. But I feel like this show, if it does end and you do find a cure, it would be dope to see that Rick does have the cure and he's immune to it, because knowing that he does have the cure but that you can still die shows you that the show indeed is just it's crazy how it works out, because throughout the whole everything he was just struggling to survive, and not just from the zombies but from other people, you know. And if you have the cure and you didn't know all along, right? You could have gone somewhere and changed your direction for the show to make it better, to help the world. That poses a really good question. Like, if you did have if you did knew that you had the cure, would you have gone a different route? And if you did go that different route, who's gonna help you, right? And then it's just a coincidence that you do have the cure because you're immune, and then you just part of this huge community that comes, you know, that saves you. And because now you're part of them and you do have the cure and you're immune, you can help those people survive, so they, you know, we could start to repopulate. And I feel like if the story ends that way, somehow leading for us, to the viewers, to know like, oh snap, this is what's happening while everybody's kind of still struggling, or kind of on the struggle, you know, currently. And then you're Rick, and you're over there with a new community, and you're not part of the show right now. As for us as viewers, we're seeing you, and you're like, we know what's going on with the backstory, but all these other characters are kind of struggling. We just know that there's hope for them, because there's gonna be somehow a link for them to always want to connect back with each other, you know. And once you see the show finish like that, and you just know like, oh, you know, there's hope, they're gonna be together. That's how I feel like you should end the show. You should end it like by somebody somehow finding a cure. You shouldn't end it by just literally kind of like having all the main characters die, or whatever the case is. You know, like you gotta leave it in a way where, like, you know, like, okay, like, shit happened, but there's still time for us to. There's currently right now a moment of survival and hope where you can, like, okay, this is dope. Like, I like this whole story. Like, you know what I mean? It was worth watching this. It wasn't worth watching, and now you see Rick die. You understand what I mean? Like, and and it's like he's the hope of the whole story. Like, and you could at least make up in your mind that if you survive something like that, and, you know, you're alright, cool, in this world, this universe, like, you didn't die. Like, the story's gonna go on, and it was happily ever after all the struggle you went through, and you could kind of like, all right, now I understand how this started and it ended this way. You know, it didn't just end with like some other characters that you can't really kind of connect emotionally like that anymore. You know, because the main reason why you connected with the show was because of how Rick made it a story. So if you think about it, they do have to make some type of storyline that connects Rick to the story, and have him, if he does have the cure. I feel like this is just a theory. You know, because you know what's funny? It is funny. Out of all the people out of all the people, he was like the only one that didn't get sick. Alongside with everybody else, like like Herschel, because some people are just like more stronger than others. But Carl, they were trying to show, like, they were trying to make it seem like Carl might be the one that he's not, that he doesn't get, he's immune in a way a little bit when he was like trying to show Rick that he was growing up and he was going through that struggle of seeing that him as a dad kind of like doing things on his own, and he didn't get sick and he wanted to help. And you can kind of tell, like, people were like saying like, oh, he might be immune or whatever. It's like, but no, like, I feel like throughout that whole time, if they do make that as the big backstory of Rick being like having the cure, that could be popping and amazing, because, you know, it's just, it makes sense. Now, another theory that they had was that this whole thing might be a dream, and if it is that, you can't just, no, there's no way that you're gonna be sleeping. Look, this whole thing, if it is a dream, because you can't just be sleeping right now and be having a dream right now and thinking like this whole thing, you know, you wake up and it's a dream. And then your wife is there, and then your kid is there, waiting for you. Carl and his wife, and and then this dude, his best friend, right? And then somehow you see him wake up, and you see most of the characters that he interacted with kind of just have their own life, but he somehow keeps coming across them for a good minute. And he just looks at, he thinks, he's like, whoa. You know, this is weird. And he just goes about his life, and then it just finishes. The show finishes. But it shows a couple of like appearances of each character that was close to him just pop up into the show after he gets out of the hospital, and he's like, wait, how is this, you know? And then the Walking Dead kind of just becomes more of a you know, like a near-death experience, and you see like a vision of what could have happened if there was the apocalypse or something like that. But then yet again, that wouldn't make any sense, because how would you end that? Like, he just woke up from a dream. He wakes up and then he just looks around and he's like, oh. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, that's my theory of how it can end. But it, like, literally, like, how can it end with him just waking up and being like, oh, okay, like, I'm in a hospital, everybody's alive. He's just looking around. He's like, there's so many people. You know, like, it's normal day out. There's no zombies. It's just regular people. And he just goes back to his house with his wife and his kid Carl, and then just lives happily ever after. That's it. Like, that's not interesting. That's just you, like, okay, all this shit was fake. You're gonna feel like, what? You can't just deceive the the viewers like that. That will probably work if there's like a movie or like a short film, maybe. You know, the theory of him being the cure and him having the cure because he's immune, that I see working. That I see working, because you could do so much more with that. And then it's worked. The storyline has worked. There's, you know, The Last of Us is basically like that. It's built around the fact that somebody already has the cure and is immune. You know? So I don't see why they wouldn't do that and adapt it. I mean, the writers have and their reasons for going with the show, the way they're going. They're not going to explain how the show is going and how it's going to be. They're just going to throw you hints, and we can only wait until they put the show. Now, that is a very interesting topic right now. If you guys have noticed, Fear the Walking Dead literally has not had a villain. They haven't met a villain, like an actual villain in the Fear the Walking Dead. They haven't. They've only gone a tease of a villain, but they weren't really like a Negan or like a governor. They were just a group, and they were just ass dicks where they just wanted to, they were like a group that you could have handled, but the way that the show, spoilers, was that they just ran into this group and they weren't ready to fight a group yet. And that's what happened. Right? They fought a group, and then they ended up the mom ended up dying, and then Nick got waxed, which was one of my favorite characters of all time. And now it says, there's another article here. It says a compelling theory on the new villain in Fear the Walking Dead. Spoilers if you have not watched the Fear the Walking Dead. At the end of this week's Fear the Walking Dead, we're introduced to the last of 4 new characters in the episode. A Devishville, what the hell? I can't spell for crap. A disheveled woman played by actress Tanya Pinkins. The character is listening in on a monologue that Morgan is delivering over the radio. After surmising from that monologue that Morgan is going to Texas, the mysterious woman turns to her zombie friend pinned against the wall with a metal post through his neck and says, "It looks like we're going to Texas," as she writes. Take what you need, leave what you don't, across the zombie's face. And we can't glean anything else from the villain from that episode, but in an interview with Hollywood Reporter, Andrew Chambliss stated, "The storm is the thing that makes the world a lot harder to live in, but there will be someone cropping up who is going to really test all our characters in the ways that they didn't expect, and this antagonist, I don't want to give away too much about who this person is, may know a lot more about our characters or have insight into who they are and what they're going through in ways that our characters don't even have." So this is crazy, because if you have a villain now in Fear the Walking Dead, that's crazy, because now you know that if you play out what's going on in the show right now, you have villains throughout obviously all the seasons in Walking Dead, and then you have now a villain in Fear the Walking Dead. And it's like you could picture in your head, like, yo, this is what's going on in the world of The Walking Dead right now. That's crazy. Like, all these characters going through all of this, and you could kind of make out the story on how is it gonna go, and from there you could just literally think like, oh shit, this might happen, you know. And then it says, in his theory post over on THR, Josh Wigler surmised, based on that statement, that our mysterious villain not only knows a lot about the existing Fear characters, but that she might be working with someone else. The most likely person, he concludes, is a character that we haven't seen this season, but who Fear showrunners Andrew Chambliss and Ian Goldberg have promised will return at some point What? Daniel Salazar. The last we saw of Daniel, Ruben Blades, he was nursing a gunshot wound to the face at the end of season 3. I agree that that mysterious woman is likely working with another character who has some knowledge of these characters, and it's true that Daniel knows some of them, or at least Strand and Alicia, but Daniel Salazar doesn't know anything about Morgan. And if Daniel doesn't know anything about Morgan, how do we explain from season 4B trailer, I lose people, I lose myself, is scrawled on the forehead of Morgan in the same fashion that another message was sharpied onto the zombie by the mysterious woman, suggesting that it was the villain who scrawled it on Morgan's forehead. But how would she know that Morgan says, I lose people, I lose myself? It certainly couldn't be from Daniel Salazar, who has never even met Morgan. However, there's one character who knows many of the other characters very well. And not only that, she's been documenting their stories on tape. What is it that Morgan told Althea in the interview he gave her in the season premiere? I lose people, I lose myself. And what exactly has Althea been doing with all these tapes? It is possible that these videotape stories are more than a mere narrative device, that those tapes fell into someone else's hands, or that Althea passed them along to our mysterious villain. Will those tapes recordings finally pay off? And are they related to the 4B villain? Is Althea working in cahoots with a mysterious woman? We should find out more when the 12th episode of season airs on Sunday. Bruh. 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 Nah, I can't not. Nah, it's not possible. It's not possible for you to come in and talk about your boy Althea is working with somebody else. And I don't think that's going to be the case. If it is the case, I don't know. This theory might be a little bit crazy, because now the Daniel Salazar part, which I stated earlier, right? There's two characters that they didn't show dying in the show. This character was oh my god, he was the guy that was with Nick, that his dad had the ranch and all that stuff, and he was last seen with Nick when they were like in the episode where they stood in a big like stadium where they traded a lot of stuff and a lot of like goods and water and stuff like that. You can go buy stuff in there, right? And the crazy part is that I'm gonna just talk about this real quick, because that character, his brother died, and they didn't show him die, right? So I feel like he might be still like that guy that he's still evil, right? And he's probably he ran along with that dude. I mean, he just ran along, and he kind of like crossed paths with that villain. Or it might be that Daniel Salazar is alive, but I don't think Daniel Salazar is gonna be that evil. You know what I mean right now? I don't think he's gonna be that person that's gonna be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna like be twisted, because he did want to help Strand after and Alicia and all of them after his daughter died, and he's from like season 1. I don't think he's gonna be a villain. If he is a villain, man, that's crazy. Okay. The other thing is, I think that Damn, what was I gonna say? I know I lost my train of thought. I know there was something I was gonna say about the characters. I feel like that character. Oh no, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that there is, if you think about it, like the people that we met along Fear the Walking Dead, that were, there were so many people in this one episode where the trading center, whatever that center was, it was the trading center. All those people, it just showed you that there's so many other communities out there, right? And Fear the Walking Dead in that season wasn't far off along from now when Morgan met the people, the group, right? It was maybe like a couple of months, maybe like couple of, like, there was a time jump, right? There was a time jump, and I feel like those people might be dead, but it's not far along from the universe having so many other people out there alive. And then it just shows you, like, while the Walking Dead is happening, there's so much other stuff going on, especially on Fear the Walking Dead. And you're like, okay, it brings up this question right now, like, where's the Walking Dead going? Right? Like, if you're telling me that Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead are in the same universe, obviously, and what's happening in The Walking Dead is basically linked together, like all these things where you know, you have the Whisperers there, and then you also have this bigger community that's good, that has, like, I think it's called the New World Order. And Fear is also, the things that are happening in Fear are happening, and they're not too far away from each other. I feel like the show is gonna cross paths a couple of times within the upcoming seasons, and that's what's gonna make the shows more interesting, to see who and what characters cross paths, right? And I feel like this is a very smart thing, because when you're leading two shows to cross paths with each other, and you have all of this conflict going on, and then you have Rick leaving, which was the main story, but then he could possibly leave and come back again to The Walking Dead. And if he's not coming back part of The Walking Dead, that kind of tells you something. What if he does come back, but he comes back part of Fear the Walking Dead, and he comes back because maybe the New World Order is gonna be seen in Fear the Walking Dead somehow, right? And if the New World Order after the Whisperers comes in the Fear the Walking Dead, and you don't see it in The Walking Dead because maybe you're still having trouble with Beta and all these people and the Whisperers in The Walking Dead as a connection, you can bring back the New World Order in Fear the Walking Dead and have that connection with The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, that Rick is going to somehow end up being alive no matter what in the future upcoming seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, to be in that part of that. So then that's when characters from The Walking Dead have gone through everything they've gone through the seasons without him being there, and then once they come into the, like, conclusion seasons, that's when they meet up again. You know, Fear the Walking Dead meets Rick is there, he meets Morgan, and Morgan then is in The Walking Dead, because when he leaves out of there, you know, he's gonna be back in The Walking Dead after season 9. And then by the time he gets there, Rick is not going to be there. But then you're going to have more seasons after that, probably, explaining the story. If so, they do have seasons like that, which is insane. But I'm just creating, I don't know, I'm just coming up with this in my mind right now. This theory might happen, which is pretty cool if it does. I like where the show is going. But I feel like the show is focusing on Morgan right now, on Fear with Morgan, is connecting perfect, because now you have Alicia that's battling with her struggle to survive now, because her parents died, her freaking mom died, her brother died. Now she's basically taking on the responsibility of this girl, basically not taken yet but soon, where she's accepting the girl that basically just ruined her life even more. She killed her freaking brother and basically her mom by doing what she did. And then you have Morgan, who's struggling, right? Then you have Naomi with like 4 names, struggling to understand who she is. And then you also have Strand trying to just survive and just deal with whatever's going on, because you know he just gets drunk all the time. And all of these characters are going basically through the same thing, and they're all trying to survive, right? This season is different, and where all the characters' relationships are kind of the same from what they've gone through, but they're struggling to just like make a ways for them to have peace. But they're also going through the struggle of villains and just the world itself. And now the hurricane, which, I mean, the hurricane is just a phase, just like you will go through a hurricane here, but going through the hurricane in a zombie apocalypse is gonna be much more difficult. You understand? I just feel that, you know, if you have a hurricane going through Fear and it's close to The Walking Dead, where they live, I feel like they probably went through that, and it didn't really hit them that much, because at this point they're already good. If you think about it, like, they're living okay. All they really, if you think about it, The Walking Dead, what they're probably dealing with, the time of Fear the Walking Dead now, it could probably just be that hurricane, and they're just surviving. They're living a normal life, because the time jump makes sense. The time jump is basically them, you know, it ended up with Negan being in jail, and them just like having a life or whatever. But then when we come back to it, then it comes to the point where they start having like all this, you know, disagreement and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you think, man? What do you think? Damn, Manga, no comments? Yeah, but I just don't understand why you know, you have all of this difficulty going on with You know who will be a dope cast member in The Walking Dead? I don't know, but she's a girl, she's a woman, but if you do bring a girl back into The Walking Dead as a new character, I forgot her name, man. Let me look her up. Dímelo, dímelo. Dímelo, dímelo. Yo, I almost got killed by a moth earlier, man. It was crazy. Earlier in my last stream, hey viewer, earlier in my last stream, I almost got killed by a moth. Like I'm here in the dark, and kind of like in my room in the dark, and like I had the window open, and a moth came in here and just kind of like almost chomped my neck off. It was scary as hell, and it's dark in here, so I was like, what the is that shit, man? I almost punched the computer in the face. Damn, what's her name? Dímelo. Oh, there. Casta. Yo, honestly, like, oh, Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana, if she comes into The Walking Dead, would be dope. You know what would be funny as hell? If you see Vin Diesel come into The Walking Dead, like, just like, as one of the villains, and you're like, bro, this villain, you have no chance against this villain. Like, there's no way you're going to surpass this man's bald head and survive. Like, you're just not. I don't know, man. Like, there's so many things that you can do with The Walking Dead right now, man. Urgh. Come on, man. Yeah, but Zoe Saldana, if they was to like cast her into The Walking Dead somehow, is dope. Nah, but I feel like this dude, Ryan Hurst right now, is gonna bring a nice addition to the family. To make this Walking Dead more interesting as a character. You know what I mean? Cause like, if you think about it, like, for the characters, like Negan was like the first, honestly, like the first honest badass character that we had of the villains in the Walking Dead history. Because like the governor was like, okay, but the governor was just like, this dude was just like a regular, down to earth, not twisted, but like, he was just fucked up. Like, he's like basically in the real world, he probably could have been like one of those people that was a killer. You know what I mean? Like, Negan was not that type of person. Like, he turned into that type of person. But in the apocalypse, if you could just literally come and just like kill people for no reason, like, your backstory is, if you think about it, his backstory is that his family died too, just like everybody else. But like, the way that he kind of like, I don't know, I can't explain it. He's just more of like the normal, like, he looks like he could be like a serial killer just regardless. I feel like Negan's morals, even though he's sick and twisted, he didn't want to be a killer. You understand what I mean? Like, the governor wanted to be a killer. He didn't care. He was just like, yo, I'm killing whoever. Alright? Now, Negan, on the other hand, is the type of character that he kills for a reason. And the reason is because he has hatred for people and how people think. And he even said it in the episode when he first brought Rick into the RV. He was just talking about how people think. And then he brought in the preacher into the thing when he was gonna die, and he was just talking about how like people, you know, they're just like the mentality is of the people is just kind of crazy. Like, he's dealt with people before. Like, he's more of a mental type of person, and that's why he understands how to get into your skin and how people think. He knows how people think, so that's why it's easy for him to like be that character where he is. He's just like fucked up, but at the same time, he's not. It's not like he wanted to kill people. It's not like you could see that intent of him, like, I want to kill you. He did it basically because he made examples of people because he wanted to keep his leadership. And that's what happens. Like, you know, he wanted to create something. This other dude wanted that, but he was sick in the head. Even more in the way that he's a different type of psycho. He's like literally, he was a psycho, the way the governor was. So I feel like bringing in a nice addition of a villain, like the way that Jeffrey Dean Morgan said, whoa, that is just creepy. You know, you're over there all alone and shit. But the Whispers, man, I think that's just creepy. But you know, that's something he would probably say. But what do you gonna call it? Like, he's just like straight up, I don't know, like, you know, having a cool character, another cool character come in and kind of like making the villain as a badass is just cool to have, and to see the show kind of get a spice up more than before. And that's what Daryl brought into the mix. Like, Rick is a badass, but he was kind of like a cowboy cop badass. Like, he started to become that guy when he first got to the prison. Not even when he killed Shane, because when he killed Shane, he was like, you could tell, like, he was just trying to survive in that moment. He was just like mad and sick that he killed his own best friend. He was just tore up about it in a way, but then he was like, there's nothing I could have done about it. It just led to this. He became, after that, that's when he really turned to badass, when he literally was like, yo, I'm trying to survive. And he killed that first dude in the prison. That was one of the first people that tried to get at him. And you remember that shit was badass. Like, he just is like, oh, you trying to kill me? You trying to... He just OD, like, hit him with the machete. That was crazy. You know what I mean? And I feel that you know, bringing in these characters and then bringing in a whole bunch of other new characters that are like new to the show, good characters, it's just creating this Walking Dead like story that's gonna be epicness. And I can't wait to see way more of the Walking Dead. And if you guys love this stream somehow, if you guys like the way you know, the things I'm talking about, I know I ramble a lot, let me know if I'm rambling. But if you guys like what I'm watching, just let me know. You know, let me know in the comments below what you think. It says there's one person watching, but you're not saying anything. Alright, so now this stream has been a while long, but I'm gonna have to end the stream and come up with new content next. Guys, this is The Walking Dead streaming, talking about The Walking Dead. If you guys want to talk and have a discussion on here and make it live pop and talking about The Walking Dead until the new Walking Dead season starts, let me know. And I'll see you guys next Sunday, because next Sunday is Fear the Walking Dead, and I'm going to do a live streaming reaction to that show. To that episode. Let me know. Alright guys, love you. See you later.